Welcome to Lola's Frugal Life Podcast. If you're on a mission to be more frugal with both your time and money, you're in the right place. In this podcast, we talk about topics that help enhance living a frugal lifestyle. The goal is to save time and money where we can so that we can use the rest on what matters most to us. We talk a lot about both time and money management so that we can waste as little as possible on both. We do this while also embracing a progress over perfection mindset. If that sounds good to you, then please stick around for the latest episode right after a few quick words from our sponsor. Hi everyone, welcome back to my weekly meal plan episode. If you're new to this podcast or this weekly meal plan episode, I do a weekly meal plan episode every Wednesday. On Mondays, I do like a topic episode, and then every Wednesday, I share with you guys my meal plan for the upcoming week for my family. I do also do a blog post, which has links to the recipes on my website at lolasfrugallife.com. That way, if you hear anything here that sounds interesting to you that you might like to try, you can find the recipes and the full meal plan on my website. So this meal plan starts on Saturday, December 24th. So this week's meal plan is going to be a little bit different type foods because it is Christmas and Christmas Eve. So for Saturday, on Christmas Eve, I don't normally share breakfast, but I will share a breakfast recipe. It's called Bacon and Egg Breakfast Tarts, which is from allrecipes.com. And I make this every Christmas Eve morning. I started making it a few years ago on Christmas Eve morning, and it just became kind of like a tradition. So it's just like you take like pie crust mix, and it says to buy packaged pie crust mix, but I actually buy the refrigerated pie crust. And I actually found this year that Pillsbury made mini pie crusts refrigerated, so that made it even easier for me. So I bought those. They're actually in my freezer already waiting to make this recipe. But basically what you do is you put a pie crust in like one of those little, I forget, like a little, I don't know what you call it. It's like a little thing that you, like a tart pan, I guess it's called. And you put the pie crust in there, and then you basically put like egg and milk and Canadian bacon in it, and you bake it in the oven, and it comes out really good. My son's always like, why don't you make these more often? But I'm like, but then they won't be special because we only make them Christmas Eve morning. But anyway, so I'm going to be doing that for breakfast on Christmas Eve morning. And then for Christmas Eve at night, we're going to visit family. So I don't actually have a full meal plan for Christmas Eve night, but what I am doing is I'm making slow cooker Salisbury steak, which is from allrecipes.com, and this is a Salisbury steak crock pot meal. So I've brought it for Christmas Eve before, and it went over really well. What I do though is when I make it for Christmas Eve, instead of making the Salisbury steaks a bigger size, like more like a hamburger size, I make them like half of that. That way they're a smaller portion, so that if anybody, like not anybody, whoever's eating the food, doesn't feel like they have to take like this gigantic Salisbury steak, because they're not going to want to do that because there's so many other foods to choose from. So I just made them a little bit smaller, better for like a buffet style type food. So that's for Saturday, December 24th. So then for Sunday, for Christmas Day, like kind of similar to how we do for Thanksgiving, we have a gazillion sides. I am doing a Christmas ham, which is from foodnetwork.com, and we really love this recipe. You basically cook the ham, but you make like this mixture of Dijon mustard and orange marmalade, and you kind of like slather it all over the ham. And then you take crescent rolls, and you basically like cover the ham with the crescent rolls, so it's kind of like encased in the crescent rolls, if that's the right word, and you bake it like that. I think that the crescent rolls, I think, go on towards the end. I forget. I don't remember the timing of it all, but it comes out really good. So we've been making that ham for quite a few years now, every Christmas. And then the sides we're going to be doing are pretty much the same ones we did for Thanksgiving. We're going to be doing best green bean casserole, Chef John's perfect mashed potatoes, classic baked mac and cheese, corn casserole, creamy cheesy spinach, easy holiday stuffing, and spicy sweet potato casserole. And then we're going to probably try to make this rich chocolate truffle pie, which is from allrecipes.com, which I haven't made before, but it looked like it would be really good, and I thought it might be something fun to try for Christmas. So there's too many recipes there to sit there and go through all of them with you individually and where they're located, but I will have all of those on my blog post. So if you want to find recipes for any of those sides that I just mentioned, those will all be on the website. So for Monday, December 26th, I'm doing a ribeye steak. I just marinate it with olive oil and red wine vinegar and some McCormick steak seasoning, and then I cook it under the broiler. I might try and cook it in the air fryer this time because I know that steak is supposed to come out really good in the air fryer, but I just haven't done that previously. And the reason why I kind of want to try that is because I almost set my house on fire twice cooking a ribeye steak under the broiler. Even though I try and keep it pretty far from the broiler, like I lower it even lower than I think it needs to be, but sometimes the fat from the steak like pops and hits the broiler at the top of the oven, and 2 times I have caught a steak on fire. So I'm just getting really nervous. Even though I stand right there and I do keep checking on it, I just am kind of pretty much almost done with cooking ribeye steaks under the broiler at this point, so I may try that in the air fryer. In the summer, I just throw them on the grill, but in the winter, it's different. So I'm going to try and maybe try and do that in the air fryer. And I didn't plan any sides for Monday because I figured we're going to have so many sides left over from Christmas that we'll just have those with the steak, whatever we happen to have left over. So then Tuesday, we always do some type of Mexican theme type dinner. So this Tuesday we're going to be doing sheet pan chicken fajitas, which is from foodnetwork.com. And then I also just do cook some white rice with that because some members of my family like to eat the chicken fajita mixture over top of white rice, and some of us make regular fajitas with the flour tortillas. So this fajita recipe is just very basic. It's just typically, typical your chicken and peppers and onions and some seasoning, and then you just cook it in the oven. So that'll be a nice quick and easy meal. For Wednesday, we usually always do seafood. We do salmon every other Wednesday, so this happens to be our salmon week. So I will just be doing the salmon. I buy the salmon fillets, and it's so easy. I just brush them with olive oil and season them with smokehouse maple seasoning, put them in the oven at 450 for about 12 minutes, and they come out pretty much perfect. And then I always do some buttered egg noodles and some frozen vegetables like frozen corn or frozen peas or whatever frozen vegetables we happen to have in the freezer that can just be popped in the microwave, and that makes for a really quick, easy meal. For Thursday, I'm going to be doing a crock pot chili, which is from allrecipes.com. I honestly cannot remember if I have made this recipe before, but I'm going to give it a try. I always do soup and grilled cheese or breakfast for dinner on Thursday. Chili is not really like a soup, but I figured I'm going to be home on vacation for the week between Christmas and New Year, so I'll have a little bit more time. So I figured I can get that chili kind of put together in the morning and have it cook in the crock pot all day, and that'll be a nice easy dinner for that Thursday. And then I was thinking I'm just going to do like baked potatoes on the side when it's done, and then if anyone wants, they could do like a baked potato with like chili on top and cheese and all that kind of stuff. So that's for Thursday, and then Friday is the last meal in the meal plan. And for Friday, I'm going to be doing Debbie's vegetable lasagna. This is from allrecipes.com. And again, typically this is not something I would make on a Friday night. The vegetable lasagna definitely takes a lot of prep time, but since I am home on vacation that week, I'll have some more time to make that. So I'll be able to kind of do some of the prep earlier than I normally would be able to do on a Friday. So that is it for this week's meal plan. Again, you can find links to every week's meal plan on my website at lolasfrugallife.com, and there are links to any of the meals that are mentioned on there. I did recently find out that some of the links that I had to meals have gone bad. I've fixed most of them, at least the ones that I know of, and in the current week's meal plan, I know they all work, and definitely I think last week's too. I've been checking them now. I wasn't even thinking that like the websites would either change or whatever. But some of the recipes that I had that were older, the sites weren't coming up, and in most cases I was able to find like a refreshed link of the site and just replace that. So a couple people were nice enough to tell me that that was happening, and then I went and fixed them. Otherwise I would have had no idea, and I did have no idea. So if for some reason you do go to look for a recipe and it's something that you really wanted to try and you can't find the link, or the link is bad, just let me know and I'll be sure to go and find the updated link and fix that. So you can either just like email me or comment on the blog post or whatever, and I'll see it and I'll fix that. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you back here next week. So thank you for checking in for this podcast episode, and don't forget, you can always email me with any questions or suggestions at lolasfrugallife@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at lolasfrugallife, and you can find a blog post for most of my episodes and definitely all of my meal plan episodes at lolasfrugallife.com. You can also join our private listeners group at facebook.com/groups/lolasfrugallife. And if you enjoy the show, please make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen from. And I would love it if you would screenshot the show and tag me on Instagram so I could see you're listening. Also, if you can please take a couple of seconds to rate and review the podcast. Those ratings and reviews are what help the show come up better in search results so that other people can find this podcast. So that will really help me in growing my audience. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have an awesome day.